All right. Hi, everyone. Today we have three special guests from a company called GameSeta. So today we have Tawanda, our co-founder, the co-founder and CEO, Rana, who's a co-founder and CTO, and we also have Venus, who is the Chief Marketing Officer and Director here at GameSeta. I guess to start off, like, how did you guys all meet?
Thank you, funny. Ronnie and I met through mutual friends. Then we just hit it off, and then we became very good friends. Very interested in the same things. We always used to go on like trips together to like different places, and we just always like found ourselves always talking about like esports, technology, products, services, how to change the world.
I would say our friendship was the core foundation of our friendship was talking about all the tech startups. Like we just both realized we were so interested in that, and whenever we used to go, like wherever, we would just like keep talking about it. And people would actually get annoyed that we are always talking about businesses, startups. But yeah, we just after finding out that esports is something that we both agree on and we both have so much interest in, we just went for it.
What is the story behind GameSeta?
I would say GameSeta is a company that's trying to shine the spotlight on an industry that has never really had its spotlight shone upon. So what we do as a company, where we see ourselves in the next few years as every single student or person within the amateur scene, and the amateur scene basically being that of people who compete in competitive gaming, but not at the professional level. Trying to like shine a light on those people and saying like, okay, if you're a person who's passionate about like esports or a game like League of Legends, how can you like shine? How can you like show the world that you're the best? And through GameSeta, that's what we do best. And like, there's no other company that's able to like shine a spotlight on you and really move you from the darkness into the light.
That's awesome, because I feel that a lot of people these days are playing esports, and it's very interactive and collaborative, a way for people to connect with each other. So it's great that you guys started this to really bring light to like these like individuals, right?
Yeah, and especially like I know we're living in Canada, and when it comes to esports, we are way too far behind than our neighbor, which is States. Um, I went to Dallas High School, and I realized that when I came here after that, I realized that we don't even have like open concept of esports. Like there, it's almost recognized as a normal sports that is encouraged, like people should actually take part in, and that's what we are missing here. And I think that was one of the great deal for us that we should do something about it.
That's great. So I guess you guys play a lot of the esports then?
Yeah, like I mean, I'm a big fan of League of Legends. I also like Call of Duty. I'm more of a PlayStation console guy, but yeah, other than that, just a computer game, League of Legends. I was really competitive in that.
I kind of like went crazy on like FIFA. I think between like grade 4 to like first or second year of like high school or back in Zimbabwe, like I used to play full on manager mode, build a team. Actually, it's pretty interesting because like I feel like that's why I learned most of like my strategic skills. Because like even with playing like games like Call of Duty, like and even longer games that shooting other first person shooter games, strategy games, like they really taught me about how to like strategize. And thinking forwards now, it's like wow, I used to like really like spend so many hours like I know like I'll be like in the car with my parents sometimes and I'll be already like strategizing, saying, okay, I have to like go through this way and I have to like go through this. And I'm pretty sure yourself, you've had similar experiences where you found yourself like strategizing. So I think that's one of the biggest things as a company. It's like implicit but not explicit education through like strategy for students, and that's pretty like cool, I think.
For me, I actually grew up playing a lot of video games. Like I played like FIFA and Call of Duty and a lot of well, a lot of these video games, we have to really think ahead, and I feel like it really translates a lot into my life too, because you think about like how to get to the objective, right? And basically, it's a game, right? You have to there's challenges, and you have to overcome that, and you have to get the reward at the end, right? So it's really interesting how you guys are incorporating that kind of like mindset and those ideas into GameSeta. So, Venus, you also play, or have you tried?
Okay, to be honest, I don't play video games a lot. And when I was introduced to Tuanda and the business, I didn't much about the esports. So I started doing more research and get familiar with the market. And I realized, okay, so one thing that I always had in mind, I thought like people just play video games for fun, you know, entertainment. But when I got more familiar with this industry and esports and this stuff, I realized that it's more than just playing games and have fun. When you have a team, when you compete as a team, there's more of like a teamwork, there's more of like communication, like there's so many skills that you're building. So it's not only just having fun and playing games.
It's a good perspective, right? Just how, playing or games, how that really translates into strategy building, and also like even building your guys' startup and everything, right?
Yep.
So now I guess can just talk about where is the vision of GameSeta going?
I think the vision of GameSeta is one that's pretty flexible and pretty like interesting. I think in the next few years, I think we've even seen with the advent of like COVID-19, we've really been pushed into the world has really been forced to like move into the digital revolution. So, for example, right now, esports is one of the only things that a student can do if they're at home, right? So, and playing video games is like a very big aspect of some of the activities that parents are seeing their students can do. So, I think right now, esports' vision has become not more like pushed down, but it's more clear. A lot of parents are now thinking and saying, okay, is there a way that I can find cool ways for my kids to be interested in playing video games or interested in finding things for them to do? So I think in the next few years, I really do believe that esports and gaming in general is going to not become mostly just a sport, but I think it's going to be a central aspect of many of the things that people integrate into their lives, be it in organizations, universities. We've started to see companies that are starting to like teach children how to like key skills, even key skills through like things like virtual reality even. So I think it's mostly thinking how gaming can shape the way we're building an ecosystem around how we think and move as a society. So I think that would be like the vision for GameSeta and what we could do. Not just limited to high schools, but there's so many other possibilities. Yes.
What do you guys like do exactly for the students? So how do you guys operate usually?
Basically, what we do is we are a tech company, right? So we are just developing an online platform. And we are taking away all the logistics problem that high school has to go through in order to set up esports. One of the things that we found that almost most of the high schools are complaining about is they don't know how to set up an esports in their high school. I mean, they know all the benefits, but they just don't have the person who can do all that, because you really need to hire another person, especially who is professional in that. So we just came up with an idea to develop an online platform that can take care of that. And we are kind of like a middleman, and we're just taking all the responsibilities, taking all their problems, and just putting them in the platform, and that's how they'll be able to compete with each other without really thinking about all the mess that goes into it, into setting up esports.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great. So I was wondering, since like there must be like a lot of like logistics and a lot of planning and coordinating with like the schools and the students and everything. What are your guys' thoughts on how to build like an organization effectively?
I think the first thing you need to understand is it's like construction, right? It's like when you're building anything, You have to set a vision and be like, okay, this is what the house is going to look like, right? But you also have to accept that this is what it might not look like when it's finished, right? So you have to understand that it's a process, right? It's like slow and steady wins the race, right? It's like you put one brick, you put another brick, you put another brick, and you do it slowly. And yeah, you have to accept that it's going to be a slow process, and you have to accept that things may change. So in terms of building an organization, whilst you're laying all these bricks, I think it's important also to surround yourself with people who got experience at laying all these different types of bricks. So for us, it's like we've got an amazing team of advisors and friends and people and family around us. So I think making sure when you're building an organization, it's like don't try to like feel like, oh, all of a sudden you have to like step into this role as a CEO or a chief marketing officer. I think those are just titles, and like I think you grow into those. And today, Rami, Rana, Venus, we're learning every day. We're learning how to build an organization. I don't think organizations are ever finish being built. So whether it's Apple or like GameSeta, like they're still building, right? We don't know what they're going to be building in the next few years, but they're still at a certain point of building and maintenance. So that's my perspective.
That's great. Wow. So like the never ending like improvement, right?
Yeah.
It's always like changing and always growing and everything, right?